Hi guys, hope you are all doing well. Welcome to our book review program. I'm so excited, I'm absolutely excited. One thing that you need to understand about progress and about growth is that if you progress and you grow in the right way, employing and engaging the right principles, your growth will be evident. It's one thing to grow arbitrarily or naturally, it's another thing to grow strategically, to grow in a way, in a manner that makes sense, in a way, in a manner that you now become the value that your goal is set out for and set out after. So always remember that you do not just grow for the sake of growing, but you grow into the value that God sees you from and sees you in. That's one thing you always need to understand. So I'm quite absolutely excited that kind of lighting that we've created. I'm learning all of these cinematic lights, different kind of lighting positions. So for the fact that this is our first book review session with such lighting is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I just want to let everybody know that you can subscribe to our channel. Like the subscribe button, I'll put it somewhere up there. Right, subscribe to our channel. Our channel offers a variety of different content. I think there's 4 playlists of 4 categories of kinds of content that we offer on YouTube. The first one is a book review because I absolutely love reading, and especially when you read books that help you grow in the right way and help you grow strategically speaking. So there's book review programs, there's the Sum It Out session, of which is another ardor of mine. The word ardor means love, it's another love of mine. It's a Sum It Out session, and we also have the motivational sessions. We not call it the greatness sessions, of which they are Christian motivation sessions, and I thoroughly love shooting, recording those, just learning how to stay motivated in the absence of excitement, but motivated in the presence of discipline is absolutely amazing. Let me not ramble on. Let us begin with our book review program. So the book that we're going to be reviewing today is the book called King Solomon, the richest man who ever lived, and the subtitle therefore then says that the secrets in acquiring the wisdom, acquiring the wealth of the kingdom. Right, the wisdom that Solomon gives us in the book of Proverbs. How do you become rich from a kingdom-minded perspective? The kingdom I'm speaking of is the kingdom of Christendom, the kingdom of God. As a Christian, how do you grow and become what you see for yourself, what you envision yourself? Because most of us, if not all of us, we envision ourselves successful, we envision ourselves prosperous, we envision ourselves wealthy. So that vision that you have for yourself, right, whatever it may be, how do you see yourself prosperous in that vision, in that goal, in that dream? How do you see yourself wealthy in that vision, goal, and dream? And one thing you need to understand, and King Solomon even speaks about it in the book, The Richest Man Who Ever Lived. He says that when you strive for wealth, when you strive for prosperity, when you strive for riches, you do not only need to strive for it in one perspective, from one perspective. There's 2 perspectives when it comes to prosperity, wealth, and riches, which is the unseen part of it and the seen part of it, the spiritual part of it and the physical part of it. Don't only seek prosperity from the material sense, but also seek prosperity from the spiritual sense. What is the spiritual sense of prosperity? Happiness, joy, peace, contentment, all those character traits. This is what we call being prosperous from a spiritual standpoint, from a spiritual perspective. So as I was reading that book, there were so many great insights that King Solomon gives from the book of Proverbs. Right, I will list the author's name here. I can't remember the author's name right now, but I'll put it right here. And the author says that what he learned from the book of Proverbs made him wealthy, made him prosperous, gave him the riches that he always desired after. And one thing that he says also in the book of Proverbs is that don't rush for riches. So this is the number one thing. As much as we are looking at our book review club is all about books that have to do with Christianity, theology, and the books that have to do with the psyche of success. So right now we're dealing with the psyche of success from a theological perspective, from a biblical perspective. So before we even begin in this book review, one thing you need to know is that one who rushes for riches is one who will end up with nothing, or is one who will end up into evil things or ungodly things. What do I mean? When you rush for riches, riches which are accumulated hastily will also leave hastily. These are 2 different scriptures which utter or gave us the same understanding in do not be hasty when it comes to riches. Riches are built, wealth is built, prosperity is a progressive thing. So once you grow using the right principles, once you grow in the right principles, then you will ultimately, subject to eventuality, you will ultimately become rich. So don't rush yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the skills. Be patient with the principles that you are employing. Be patient in learning, because mastery is not something that happens overnight. Mastery is an ever progressing, ever continuous learning thing. So if you have a goal, right, your goal is subject to mastery in the sense of the skills that are needed for you to achieve that goal. And once you achieve that goal, you become valuable, or you become the value that the goal is. And therefore, people will seek out after you in terms of the kind of value that you can add to them based on the mastery that you have obtained in achieving, reaching, and drawing closer towards that goal. Because one thing that you need to understand about goals is that the further a goal stretches you, the more it demands you to become. Whether it's becoming disciplined, whether it's becoming focused, or whether it's becoming, so sorry about that. Whether it's becoming rich, whether it's becoming disciplined, whether it's becoming focused, whether it's becoming much more in tune, whatever becoming happens out of you striving to reach your goal, all right? That's the one thing you need to understand. And I love, and I'm reiterating this understanding, what Jim Rohan says, that appreciate the goal not because of you achieving it, but because of what it will make you become in trying to achieve it. And there's a post that I made, which I therefore then said that even if you don't reach your goal, appreciate what you became trying to reach your goal. Find the gold or the gold nuggets, or find the joy, find the happiness, find the achievement in your failures in terms of what has it cost you to become. Even in failing to reach the goal, the stage where you failed from where you began, what growth has happened there. Even if your goal needs you to achieve or needs you to pass 10 stages and you only passed 3 stages, in those 3 stages that you've passed, what have you become? Have you become more disciplined? Have you become more strong? Have you become more focused? Have you become more intellectually inclined? Have you become more astute in whatever area? What level of, you see, now I'm going to motivational sessions, but nonetheless, if you look at the book of King Solomon, right, I wrote it down right here, right, the contents page. There's 15 chapters in this book, okay, 15 chapters, and they speak about, let me read the first one. Obviously, the first chapter of the book is the introductory chapter. It tells you what the book is all about and what you're about to engage into. In the second chapter, it says the key to winning every race. And one of the keys to winning every race is the character trait of diligence. Ooh, I can take an entire session just on that whole diligence subject matter or topic. When we speak about diligence, we are saying being able to do the right thing even if no one is watching. When we speak about diligence, we're speaking about excellency at a personal level, not excellency at a publicly pleasing level. Yes, you may want to do things excellently so that you can please those around you, but what if there isn't anyone around you? Will you still maintain that level of excellence inside of you to say that I will do this right even if no one's watching, I will do this right even if no one's reprimanding me, I will do this right even if no one's correcting me, because there's a personal level of excellence, there's a personal standard of excellence that I have in me that if I do not reach, I will have sleepless nights and I'll just not be okay, right? You need to be obsessed about excellence. The obsession about excellence is that you need to practice excellence in such a way, in a manner, and repetitively, so that that excellence becomes your standard. A standard is a foundation that you lay, and by and through that foundation you are able to build. So once your foundation becomes, or once in your foundation there's excellence mixed with it or inculcated in it, there is no way that you can fail in certain things, because excellence dictates and demands that things be done right. And once things are right, you activate and you provoke a principle that will ultimately bring you to a place and a point that you have made for yourself, desired for yourself, planned for yourself, or goaled for yourself. So excellence is one of the greatest aspects, definitions, or one of the greatest understandings when it comes to explaining the term diligence, right? So it says in chapter 2, the key to winning every race. Chapter 3, it speaks about the secrets of extraordinary success and also employ diligence. If you want to be extraordinary, You need to learn how to focus on one thing and work that thing until you become. There's another book that we're going to read very soon which speaks about the one thing. Woo! I can't wait on that. It says that don't focus on the many other things, don't focus on the noise, but focus on that one thing. And once you've gained mastery and you become skilled and gifted in this one thing, there's a value that you will become, there's a value that you'll become, and there's a value that you will be that will demand the presence, attention of the world to come to you. I hope I'm phrasing it correctly, grammatically speaking. Okay? So that's chapter 3. And then chapter 4 speaks about Solomon's secret, turning dream into reality. How do you turn a dream into reality? How do you turn something which God has given you, which you believe, which you desire, which you hunger after, from it being an abstract concept to it being a reality in your life? How do you do that? And Solomon gives you those principles in chapter 4. Then chapter 5 speaks about the key that opens doors. And one of those keys that opens doors is what? Diligence, number 1. Number 2, kindness and honesty. And number 3, it has to do with accountability, right? Yes, accountability. But there's another way that King Solomon phrases it. But nonetheless, accountability. You need to have this character traits. Can people count on you? Can people trust in you when it comes to assignments, when it comes to tasks? Are you a transparent person? And when we speak about honesty, we're also speaking about transparency. Can people trust that even if you do not achieve what they had instructed you to do or what they had tasked you to do, will you be open and honest enough to tell them what went wrong? Other than giving them false information or giving them a false report and then blaming themselves that, you know what, I should have done this myself, or you know what, it was a mistake even trying to delegate this task to you. Okay, so honesty is very important. Honesty, diligence, accountability, all of these character traits is what are the ingredients that are needed for you to become a success, for your dreams to become a reality. Can you be honest to yourself? Okay, let's leave other people hiring you or you being tasked by other people or other assignments being delegated to you. If you are not honest with yourself, how do you expect to succeed? If you're not transparent with yourself, how do you expect to succeed? There's one quote that says that you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. And it's one of the most saddest things to lie to yourself. There's something about self that will always tell you that you did not do enough. You weren't honest enough. You do not wake up early enough. You do not push hard enough. You do not study long enough. There's a self in you, which is yourself, right, that will always be honest with you. There's a part of you that will always be transparent to say you did not push enough and you know that. So it's the most saddest thing to lie to yourself, because yourself will tell you that you know that that's not true. Okay? So it's very interesting. And the other one is chapter 6, the great accelerator. The great accelerator speaks about counsel. If you want to be successful, and you want to be successful very quickly, the greatest principles to employ is surrounding yourself with great counsel. Counsel speaks about mentors. Counsel speaks about teachers. Counsel speaks about leaders. Counsel speaks about people who have reached a high level of your dream. People who have reached a high level of where you want to go. People who are where you want to be. You need to surround yourself with counsel, because one thing that I appreciate about counsel is this, that counsel will help you not make the same mistakes that they made. Counsel will help you not go down the same road of delay that they went down. When you receive counsel, when you have counsel around you, they will advise you. They are the eyes outside that have a view of what you don't within. It's like watching any sports game. There's a perspective and a view that you have as a spectator, as opposed to someone who's actually in the game and playing the game. And you'd find that it's invaluable, the perspective of spectators, because they see things that you don't. They see things from the outside. They see, in a sense, the bigger picture of things. But because you are in the game and there's only your vision and foresight is only so large, and it can only penetrate through so much understanding, that it's limited. But imagine having vision perspective from within and also having vision perspective from without, that you are able to balance the two perspectives to give you a wholesome perspective on what bullseye should you strike for, or how should you move from this moment forward. So that's the one thing about counsel. And even in the book of Proverbs, it therefore then says that in the midst of many counsel, failure is absent. or failure is not there, or it is impossible to fail. The Bible tells you if you have great counsel and many people who are great counsel around you, it's rare for you to fail. If you do fail, okay, certain other factors can contribute to that. But if you do fail, okay, but it's rare to fail if you have great, amazing, thoughtful, intentional counsel around you. Okay, so counsel very important. That's one of the quickest way to success. And then we have chapter 7, the happiness secret. Then chapter 8, winning from the perspective of resolving conflict. Then he also teaches you how to resolve conflict. And one of the strategies that I learned, which was very profound, was a sandwich approach. The sandwich approach is that if you see that something is wrong and you want to address it, and you understand that in addressing it, it's going to become confrontational, to approach it with the sandwich approach principle. The sandwich approach says that first state what is good, okay? State the problem and state what they have done right, okay? So whatever is good, tell them, okay, no, what you've done, okay, it is good, but here's where the problem is, and here's what you've done, and from what you've done, this is how you can move forward. So it's a sandwich approach, that the confrontational part is in the middle, but you wrap it around noticing first, or giving Caesar what's due to Caesar, in the sense of the compliment, in the sense of encouraging them, in the sense of what they've done right. So those are the two bread layers, and what's within the sandwich, that's the confrontational part. So dress up your confrontational opinion or confrontational observation or evaluation in complimenting them, in telling them what they did good, in telling them how far they've come, and in telling them where can they go from what they did good based on what you've seen that they have done wrong. I hope I'm making sense. So that's one of the strategies that this book gives us, to say that if you want to have a healthy, fruitful, confrontational argument to someone, you should do it this way. It tells you that there are certain arguments that when you argue with people, it's like absolutely useless. You understand that there is no resolution that comes about, there is no positivity that comes about from that argument, that after that argument, everything that you are trying to achieve is just, the end result is that the relationships have ended, people are not talking to each other anymore, the person didn't even listen to you. So you want to argue in a smart way, you want to argue in an intelligent way, you want to argue in a way that is wise, that an end result, an end outcome which is fruitful, beneficial, and that will advance the cause of whatever you're arguing about, whatever that you wanted to address, that was confrontational, that it moves forward, it advances to the next level. That's ultimately what you want to achieve out of every argument. So he teaches you how to argue in a way that has wisdom. Then chapter 9 speaks about turning an enemy into a friend from the perspective of argument, from the perspective of having to address things which are uncomfortable, confrontational. Then he also speaks about, in chapter 10, overcoming destructive elements in relationships, right? How do you overcome a certain element in your relationship with somebody, it's a friendship, family, or whatever it may be, romantic? When you see that there's this part of them that is not healthy, how do you address that? When you see that everything else that they're doing is fine, the 90% that they bring to the table in terms of relationship is okay, but there's this 10% which is not healthy, how do you address that? How do you make them aware of that, so that you guys can move on in your relationship in such a way, in a manner that you are able to feed off each other and the relationship is fruitful? How do you do that? Then chapter 11 speaks about disarming traps of success. And one of the traps of success is naivety. Naivety is not doing your due diligence on matters. Just because someone looks professional, just because someone sounds professional, just because someone sounds very astute to the subject matter or to the project, whatever it may be, doesn't mean you shouldn't do your due diligence, right? Check their background, check their credentials, check their CV, check testimonies about them and on them, check their life, check their character. Do not be naive to jump into businesses or business partnerships, or jump into companies which look good on the outside, but the culture of the organization is very detrimental. There are companies that are like that they achieve the most greatest of successes in terms of their product or their services, but the culture of the company, of the organization, is very detrimental. That once you enter into that company, you always having mental breakdowns. But you ask yourself, the culture of the company is bad, but they're achieving great success. You also have people who break the law in order to achieve great success, you will not last with that person. So you need to do your due diligence. Do not be naive from what you see, from what they've achieved. How did they achieve that? The Bible does tell you that great success done in an evil way is pointless, is not good. You have people who are wicked, who are evil, who have achieved and have great things and have great success, but the manner in which they get it is not within biblical principles, not within the principles that someone who's a child of God should live by. So you need to be very aware of that. Okay? And that was chapter 11. Then chapter 12 speaks about the single biggest cause of financial loss, which is also speaks about naivety. Okay? Then chapter 13 speaks about defeating enemies of happiness and success. And one of those things of enemies of happiness and success is, what did that book say? Is, yes, naivety. Number 2, pride, because pride comes before the fall of a man. Pride, ego, all these things are what are the enemies of happiness and success. Not being content, enemy of happiness and success. Always comparing yourself with other people, coveting. And when you covet, you want something in such a way, in a manner that you're willing to go to any lengths to have it. Those are the enemies of happiness and success. Right? The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. That is the enemy of happiness and success, because you'll never become content if you love money so much that you are willing to go lengths and any lengths to obtain it. Okay. Then the last one speaks about Solomon's foundation of success. And Solomon's foundation of success is this: everything that I just mentioned now. 1, integrity. 2, honesty. 3, accountability. 4, diligence. 5, success. 6, counsel. I can list them. All of these are the ingredients that will make you successful in the right way, make you successful in a biblical way, make you successful in such a way, in a manner that you do not lose or you do not go against the morals and values that you were taught as in Sunday school or at church or whatever it may be. Do you understand? So these are the things that are taught in this book, King Solomon, the richest man who's ever lived, the secret in obtaining wealth in a godly way. I hope I'm paraphrasing the subtitle to the book. Okay, so that's the book that we read this month, and we are reading. Some of you guys, your first time joining us. So this is the book that I've read. You can go and read the book. It's an amazing book. Read the book. Give me your perspective. Give me your reviews. Give me what you think of the book. Write in the comment section that I've read this book. Right, this is what I think of the book. I don't agree with you here. I agree with you here. I have a different perspective here. Right, write it down in the comment section what you think about the book. Make sure that you read it. So that's the book that we are focusing on this month, the month of January. Then in the month of Feb, I am going to be focusing on the book of this book. Actually, I'm excited. This book. It's a book by Daniel Goleman. It's called Focus. Right, the hidden driver of excellence. How do you focus? This book is steeped in neurology, it helps you understand the mechanics of the brain in terms of helping you focus and achieving focus at the highest level. But it's the information that they give us in this book is invaluable. It's absolutely amazing. Where am I on this book actually? I think I'm quarter way done on page 61. It's a 300 page book, and I'm on page 61. I need to finish it before the end of Jan. So I'll definitely record a session on this book. So this is the book for February. We read 3 books in a month, right? 3 books. So I'm reading the second book for this month. This is this one. This is the book for February, right? There's another book that we're going to do this month. These are the books that I've read. So I think I'm going to give you guys 2 book reviews a month. Let me not overwhelm you. 2 book reviews a month, right? So the next book review that I'm going to do will be on another book this month, right? And then next month we'll do this book and another. So let's aim for at least 2 books a month. It's not too much, right? And be smart with it. Be very smart. Get books that are not too big. Like, get books which are insightful, valuable in terms of your growth. That are not this thick, right? Get like a 175 page book, at most 250, 200, 250 pages or 200 pages. I've read like those kind of books that don't have that many pages, and they were very valuable in terms of adding on to the knowledge that I had. or adding on to, or expanding the understanding that I have on certain things. So yeah, just get normal. We'll get to a place in the pod where we read thick books and we just do one book review a month. But let's start at a bite-sized level. Let's start here. Right. So this book is not. I think this is the thickest book you should get for now. Beyond this thickness, don't go there because you won't be able to finish it in that month. Okay. So my aim is that every book that we get is bite-sized, that we can finish it that month and review it that month. Okay. Love you guys all. Hope you guys have an awesome day further or awesome evening further, depending on what time you watch this book review. Okay. Next book, I'll announce it on the YouTube. I'll announce it in the comment section. The next book that we're going to read, if not in the comment section around in our community. The next book that we're going to read. Make sure that you subscribe. Click the subscribe button right there. Right. Subscribe to our channel. Right, and tell us what books have you read, and also suggest if you want us to read certain books, suggest them to us. Okay, tell us the books that you'd love us to review. Tell us the books that you'd love us to read this month. All right, bring in your suggestions. Right, it might be a book you've read and I've not read, and I have to go and read and do a review on it. Tell us what kind of book you also want us to review. Do all of that in the comment section. Right, love you guys all. God bless.